ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retro Warriors episode 494. Woo! As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by viable human Chris Saturn.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Saturn. I do little robot arms now when I introduce you. That's my new...
Oh,
I don't know why, but that's my...
I'm glad you tell me,
new...
though, because it does make it more exciting.
Well, I just need you to know how animated I am. And I'm worried that the numbers are getting so big that the intro is gonna take so long. We're like, welcome to episode 1397 here in 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
When that
It'll be like 15 years from now, something like that.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, it's gonna be kind of weird seeing like online personalities getting real old. Like some of the earlier ones already are like getting up there.
Oh yeah.
But there's this one movie critic I watch on YouTube, and I was just watching him like do some video about the new Superman trailer that dropped or something like that, and just like I was looking at him, I was like, man, he's getting old, and I was like, shit, he's got to be in his late 40s, early 50s, shit, man. And it's just gonna be weird having like people hosting podcasts. Like I like to imagine we'll be 70 and still hosting podcasts, but I don't fucking know.
Right.
But I feel like it'd be kind of cool, old people putting out an RSS feed. Although I imagine
by that point it'll be commonplace for old people to be putting out an RSS feed. So.
Right. And I was imagining. I guess this is getting into my week. We don't have any housekeeping. Welcome to 2025.
You survived it.
You're here in 2025. I assume we're all prepping for the water wars.
Yeah.
Putting spikes on our cars and all that shit. Just normal 2025 stuff.
Yeah, normal stuff.
I've been playing Balatro. I finally beat a deck with red chip difficulty. I did it, Saturn. It took me so many runs. And I know it's just the RNG of the game, but it's like, you'll have 7-8 runs. I've reached a point where I can tell in the first ante what the bonuses are if I need to restart that run or not.
Yep.
So sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll restart the run 2 or 3 times and be like, all right, this is a good setup.
Yeah.
And then the times that it clicks, it's like, you're like, that was so easy. And it's just RNG fucking with you, where you're like, I just happen to get good stuff.
Now, most of the time at this point, if I don't have a good enough hand to beat the very first ante on the first hand that I play, I'll just restart.
Yeah. I go by the little tag. So if it's like, negative Joker in the next shop and like double in the negative, and then like, I'll take that all day long, But if it's like $5 for every round you skipped, and then one of them's like, oh, plus 3 hand next round, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that. I've been getting back to the Twitch streaming. I've done 3 streams this week so far. I know we had quit doing it. So today, Konshu from our Discord was in the chat and was like, why'd you start streaming again? I thought you hated it. And I was like, I do. I don't know. Some of it is it's the holidays and I'm just looking for shit to distract me.
That's fair.
And some of it was just I don't know. Like I like the idea of streaming, getting to hang out and talk to people and play games and talk about the games. Like it's I don't know. So I've been streaming Caves of Cud. Andrew joined me for one of them, and we were coming up with characters that were based off cartoon characters. So we did a Ninja Turtle character who had a turtle shell and like did melee combat, and then we did Darkwing Duck. And so when you make a character in CUD, you have a list of mutations. So on the mutations list, we have to pick like what we think the best, like what would be closest to this character. Yeah. So Darkwing Duck, we're like, all right, we'll give him a duck bill and night vision and wings, and he'll use guns, and we'll call that Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. I think you were telling us about the 2-headed character when we were doing read-along.
Well, we had one. Yeah. He was like, we want to do Chippendale, so you can't do 2 characters, so you just did a 2-headed character, and one head was named Chip, and one was named Dale. And so it's been fun. We did get I felt bad because Guy was like moderating today in the chat, and he 5 minutes after he left, we had a bot show up. And I
didn't even know you were doing it. You didn't announce anything in the Discord or anything.
I don't know. Well, at first I was just testing his setup, because I don't really have a place to stream at. And I'm working on kind of redoing my desk and so that I can have my new computer at it because it's just my old desktop sitting here. And give me some space to stream at. But I'd kind of just been playing around with different stuff. A lot of it's just like streaming's just, it was uncomfortable. It was like I'd have extra hardware hooked up in shit in weird ways and in uncomfortable places in my house just to make it work.
Right.
So I'm trying to play around with more comfortable setups.
It's fair.
But we got a bot and it was the weirdest thing because I'm watching the chat, so I'm talking to this bot. And they show up and they're like, have you played all the Final Fantasies? And I was like, what? But they phrased it weird as if there was a game called like all the Final Fantasies. And I was like, is that a game? Or like, were you asking about this game? And they're like, no, I'm new to Twitch. Haha, sorry. Is this a game? And I was like,
what?
That I'm playing? Yes, this is a game.
No, this is a spreadsheet.
And they were like, I said, I'm so new to Twitch. What do you recommend? And I was like, this is at the point where I'm like this. At first, because you're doing the stream, you're like, maybe I'm just not paying attention to what they're really saying.
Right.
Or sometimes you miss the context of what they said was supposed to correspond to something they saw on the screen at that time, and you don't make that connection. And so I was like, don't ask me for recommendations. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. And then he goes, haha, okay. Hey, if I made you some art for free, would you want to use that as we become better friends? I was like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then they left. So guy missed his one moderation opportunity to actually get to moderate our chat. And it's gone.
Poor guy.
Gone forever. So yeah, I've been doing the Twitch streaming. We are on Twitch, retro_warriors, if you want to follow us and see when I go live. The problem is, I stream during the day. At night, I'm busy. It's when I do podcasts and D&D games and hang out with my family and stuff. So usually it's like, afternoon streams, like noon to 2 kind of stuff. So I think
prime
it's just,
time for streaming.
Yeah, prime streaming time where everybody's just watching an old person play Caves of Cud and talk about Chippendale Rescue Rangers with his friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing that. I've been watching Farscape with Andrew. It's a thing we do where we call each other on Discord and watch Farscape together. We don't like Farscape.
Well, no one does.
It's just such a baffling show that we like watching it because. So I watched a history of Farscape thing. I know I'm already on a tangent, but it's the second show of the night. I watched a history of Farscape thing, and apparently the showrunners for the show were like, it needs to be sexy. And I think they made it too sexy because it constantly seems like every character is going to fuck every other character at all times.
Yeah.
And so we just watch it and make jokes about how they're all going to fuck the whole time. And so we've been.
Seems normal.
Yeah, we checked. It took us. It's taken us 9 months to get through 9 episodes. So we're on track to maybe finish it by our 50s. But
and you're currently in your teens, so it'll
currently in my teens. Yeah, so I'm 13.
Yeah,
I'm just a little baby boy. Saturn, what have you been playing?
Please don't say what have you been playing right after you say a little baby boy.
Still a little baby boy. What games do you like?
I downloaded the demo for Gimmick 2.
Yes.
The sequel to Gimmick.
He's not Mr. Gimmick anymore. He's just Gimmick.
Apparently in Japan, he was never Mr. Gimmick. That was a Europe-only thing.
Well, that's because Europe respected Mr. Gimmick.
I also learned that or vice versa. Maybe it was Europe was just Gimmick and Japan was Mr. Gimmick. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Also, I learned that the European releases for Euphoria and Gimmick were only in the Scandinavian region.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did not either. But anyway, so I downloaded the demo for Gimmick 2 because it's on Steam, and I figured I'd give it a shot. And it's solid. It is more of the same. It is incredibly cute and charming and colorful. And it has a similar difficulty to the original, which is relatively high.
Yeah.
But it has this really neat thing where the beginning of the game, it makes you choose your difficulty, and the way that you choose it isn't by just selecting it from a menu. Instead, it has one door is regular difficulty and the other door is like training introductory difficulty.
Yeah.
And you can just walk right over to the training one, but you have to complete a jumping puzzle across dissolving platforms to get to the regular difficulty.
Oh, so it kind of challenges you. If you can't make it to it, then it puts you on the regular.
Right. Yeah, so if you can't make the jumps to get to standard gimmick difficulty, then you can play the training tutorial difficulty.
It doesn't do the early 2000s thing of calling it dumb idiot baby difficulty for morons.
No.
How am I supposed to know that I'm a real gamer playing on normal difficulty then, Saturn?
You just have to have somebody in the room with you to insult you the whole time you're playing it.
Yeah. Well, my trick is I just have a T-shirt that has the stats of my latest Dark Souls character printed right on it. And then when people talk to me, I say, "Hi, I'm Justin, pro gamer," and then we continue the conversation.
That way, they can judge you immediately as they meet you.
Right. So they know. Yeah.
Other than that, I also finally got around to playing Euphoria 2, which I have owned for months now.
Yes.
And just not bothered to play it. And I really enjoyed it. It is so nice. First of all, it is super breezy and easy. So there was very little difficulty, and what little challenge there is, if you fail, you almost always respawn immediately, and there's
that's nice.
No penalty for death. Like there is a life system. And I never ran out of lives to find out what happened, so I had to look up what happens if you die enough, and it just resets you to the hub area and lets you just immediately resume what you were doing with no penalty.
Yeah.
So I would kind of call it search action, like the original Euphoria, but it's also kind of a roguelite in that. So you have a hub area, and it's got all the different worlds where you go to get the things and you eventually get the power-ups that let you get to the other areas. But each area that you go to is randomized.
Oh.
And it draws it from a pool of preset little parts of a stage.
Yeah.
And then it just grabs those few parts and puts them together, and that's what you get this time. But if you leave that area and come back, you might get a different set of them. So it's quasi-randomized. Just enough so that when you do have to go back through these areas again to unlock a thing or find a thing, it might be different than the last time you were there. So it feels a little different.
Yeah, that's nice.
These areas.
As someone who's not a fan of backtracking in general, that's a nice touch.
Yeah. But each area is so short and fast to get through that it almost feels silly to have them randomized because you're done with them in like a minute. And so you might not even notice that it is different than the last time you were there if it's been a minute since you've been there.
Yeah.
But it's still nice. I will say it runs at a smooth 4K 120 on my Series X.
Oh.
It is one of the very few 4K 120 FPS games that I've played on the Series X. And it has a little selection on the title screen of 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, which I have not seen before, and I did not expect to see on like this budget cartoony game.
Yeah.
The graphics give me a very similar feel to Yoshi's Crafted World, where everything is kind of felt. And it looks very, very nice.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It also has the tags roguelite and cute, those are two nice tags to have.
Yeah, I'll give it that. So you got your 4 playable characters. You got Hebe, who is your main character. He's like a weird white penguin thing. And he seems pretty chill and doesn't care about anything, but he wants to save the world from the aliens. Then you got his friend Ochan, who is a little girl in a cat suit. And then you got you got Sukazaimon, who is a ghost with sunglasses and a ball cap, who is super chill and doesn't care about anything.
And then a theme of being super chill and not caring about anything.
Yeah. And then your 4th character, who is Mr. Jennifer. And he's a fish monster.
All right, then.
Who barfs bombs.
This is continuing to make so much sense.
I love the theming of this game. It's just wonderful. All the little dialogue bubbles that come up, or the background of them, are made out of perler beads. And it also, while it is talking, has a little sprite of the character with a little dialogue bubble pointing at that little sprite. And it's the NES sprite of the characters made out of perler beads.
Cute.
And it's just so adorable. The only complaint I have is I don't think it supports quick resume on the Xbox, but if you're playing it on Steam or Switch or PlayStation, that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I was looking at it on Steam.
But it's very cute. It's very breezy. It definitely respects your time because a PlayStation of it can easily be 2 minutes and you'll have finished an entire stage.
Yeah,
And,
I'm down for all of this.
It's
very
nice.
exciting.
I like it. It was a very adorable, and also the writing. I don't know if it is either a 1-for-1 direct translation of the Japanese text, and so it is super awkward, or if it is the most brilliant writing I have ever read in my life. Just this perfect translation of the Japanese text into hilarious deconstructions of Japanese tropes.
We call that the Tommy Wiseau line.
Yeah, basically. It's so great. Like almost every time that Mr. Jennifer spoke, I found myself chuckling at it. It's just very good. Very good writing.
Perfect. I don't know what the fuck is happening at Sunsoft, but I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Also, I got this wild hair in my ass where I decided that I wanted to rip all my Blu-rays and put them on my Plex collection because I'd done it to my DVDs a while ago.
All right.
And I had tried to do it with my Blu-rays then, but I was running across problems where it kept failing out when I was doing it on my PC.
What are you using, Handbrake?
No, I was using Make MKV. I tried Handbrake first, and it failed real bad.
Okay.
And then I tried Make MKV, and it was also failing. And at the time, I'd found somebody who was like, "Oh, that's a DRM thing. Windows just isn't going to let you do it." And and so since I've converted enough machines to Linux these days, I was like, "All right, well, I'll try it again on Linux." And I was still getting the same problem. And I found a different forum, a Linux forum, that said, "Oh, that specific problem means your Blu-ray drive's dead, man. It's nothing you can do. Just get yourself a better Blu-ray drive." So I was looking at better Blu-ray drives, and this is when I did the dumb thing. So I started.
All right.
I started researching Blu-ray drives to try to find one that was going to be a decent enough quality that I could read and write Blu-rays and still be reasonably priced.
Sure.
And I'm looking at these reviews and I'm finding Matsushita makes a good one, and NEC makes a good one, and I think they said Samsung and Sony make good ones. And the one that I had previously was a Pioneer, and they were like, "No, that one's kind of a budget one. You don't want that."
Okay.
And I was looking at the prices of these, and depending on sales, they're anywhere between $40 and $80 for these better ones, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find one of these on sale for $40, and I'm looking around, and as I'm not finding anything that's right at the price range that I want. And then I look on eBay just in case one of them's on eBay, and I'm searching, and I find one of the Blu-ray drives that I want inside of an NEC laptop for sale for $60, shipping included.
No, you didn't.
And I'm like, all right, why not? So I buy this NEC laptop from a electronics recycler in Oregon. But I didn't bother to look at it first. And I should have thought of this because NEC doesn't make laptops in America. So it's a Japanese laptop.
Yeah.
So all the keys are in Kana.
Right.
So I powered up. They'd left a generic Windows 11 install on it. My first thought is, this machine doesn't support Windows 11. And so I do the little Windows 11 health check. And it's like, your machine does not support Windows 11. It's like, I knew you didn't support Windows 11. Didn't matter. I was going to install Linux anyway.
Sure.
So I installed Linux. But then as soon as I install Linux, I realized that it doesn't easily support the IME for this keyboard, so I can't jump between Kana and English easily. And I'm like, well, that's not acceptable. I have this Kana keyboard. I have to be able to type in Kana. So then after trying a couple different Linux distros, none of them wanted to do it. So I went back to Windows 10, and it immediately supported it. But then I remembered the whole reason I got this fucking thing was to rip my Blu-rays, and I can't do it in Windows. So I reinstalled Fedora, and then I learned how to set up the IME in Fedora, which was easier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so now I can jump between the Kana. I was like, that's not even what I'm here for. I need to rip my Blu-rays.
Right.
So then I ripped all my Blu-rays, and the last ones that I ripped were got the Blu-ray Miyazaki collection of all Miyazaki's movies. And so I ripped all of Miyazaki's movies and put it on my Plex server, and now Plex thinks I only want to see anime because I added all these Miyazaki movies. So that was the dumb thing that I did the last 2 weeks was I bought a Japanese laptop so that I could rip movies onto my Plex server.
Now you have a laptop dedicated to movie ripping.
Yes. That is, it works pretty well for it.
Well, there you go.
That. It's got a good Blu-ray drive on there.
There you go. Let's do some news.
Okay.
First up, 461 employees across ZeniMax launched a workers' union while management was at the Keeleys, the Jeff Keighley Awards.
I love this idea that they are like, oh, we got to do this without management noticing that we're doing it. Oh, shit, they're all at the Game Awards. Let's do it now.
Awesome. They're all applauding while Kojima stands on a stage and says games are good. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Did he even say games were good this year? I think he just said that he is good.
I think he came out and I thought he was announcing something. But he didn't. He just was like, video games.
Didn't he announce an award?
Maybe. I don't remember. We were too busy making fun of him, I think.
We were making fun of him.
That's what happened. But good. Good for them. Good for ZeniMax. Good for those employees. Yeah. Workers' rights, et cetera, et cetera. All right. A fan-made port of Mortal Kombat 2 to 3DO has been shown off in nearly complete state because it's 1994?
93-ish.
One of these weird... these are those projects that it's like, I'm glad that exists. I don't care, but that's cool. That's a cool thing.
I was looking at it. It actually looks pretty good. It looks like it's close to on par with the Saturn version of Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
I am curious how it plays. I've never held the 6-button 3DO controller. Yeah. And I can't imagine anybody would want to play it on a 3-button 3DO controller.
Sure.
But I am excited for both of the 3DO fans that they finally get to experience Mortal Kombat 2.
Indie developer Apocalypse is selling on its...
You skipped one.
I know, I'll go back to it. Is selling an adapter to play ColecoVision games on the Sega Master System.
Yep.
If you're the two people that own a ColecoVision and a Master System,
I think the overlap is larger than that, sir. I think if we had to guess, probably 80% of ColecoVision owners are also the kind of person who would own a Sega Master System.
You know what? Okay, sure. I'll give you that. So but then could you also put that adapter into like one of the Genesis Master System adapters?
You cannot. So I read about this. So this is something I've always been curious about because I know that the ColecoVision and the SG-2000 and SG-1000 use the exact same CPU and I think part of the same memory or something. A bunch of the chips are nearly identical between ColecoVision and the early Sega consoles.
Yeah.
And I'd always wondered if they were intercompatible with each other. And it turns out they are with this adapter. But it relies on the Master System's backwards compatibility with the SG-1000 and SG-2000, which the power-based converter on the Genesis does not have. So if you try to play it on a Genesis, it will not work. I did the research on this. Not that I will ever use this or care about it, but I was like, oh, this is fascinating. I have to know how the mechanics on this work.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Microsoft's automated process of trimming old titles from the Microsoft Store has resulted in several, mostly shovelware games being delisted and removed from users' libraries. Mm-hmm. This included Shovel Knight, which was obviously later restored. Yeah. Just another reminder that you do not own digital games. You don't own them.
Nope.
If you want to own them,
they want.
Then steal them? I don't know.
You'll either have to buy physical copies, assuming that it is a physical copy that'll continue to work.
Sure.
Or pirate them. That's your options these days.
Yep. Basically. A voice actress from the Sega CD and PS1 versions of Lunar said on a podcast that the upcoming Lunar remasters won't have the original voices because the rights to the voice work isn't as clear as Victor Ireland has previously said, which is shocking because Victor Ireland never lies.
Yeah.
Ireland responded to say she's wrong and he owns everything.
Yeah, he owns all the recordings. The way he phrased it too was there is a very clear black and white contract. Like, whoa, damn, dude, calm down.
For people that don't remember Victor Ireland, he's a character. Yeah. He's just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
All right then. Didn't expect to see him in the news.
No.
Ren Briere, developer of indie game Unpacking, has called out Nintendo for allowing shovelware clone games onto the eShop with the name Unpacking.
Yeah.
Which is not shocking because the eShop is just full of trash.
Full of trash. I think it was Good Vibes Gaming on YouTube recently did a video where they were showing off how just awful the eShop was, and one of the examples they did was they just searched for Unpacking, and the game itself was like the number 2 or 3 result mixed in with a bunch of these like just shovelware games that are all called unpacking and have nothing at all to do with it.
Like, I get it. When you're going to have these marketplaces, people are going to have a lot of shit on there, but
sure,
like,
you can do a little curation.
Yeah, I was going to say a little curation, a little smart algorithms. Like, I don't struggle to find games on Steam.
Yeah. Or maybe, not just publish literally everything that is submitted. Maybe,
my favorite is
have a human being look at it first.
If you want to really have fun, this is how I spend my Friday nights. I go on the eShop and I search for hentai. Because hentai is in the name of like 1,000 games on eShop.
Right.
And I know there's no hentai in them. There's no way. And so
there's some mild hentai. There's some like it's
a different but it's a different name when it's mild, Saturn.
Oh.
It's not called hentai anymore. It's got a different name. I don't want to get in all the terminology with you, okay? All right. But just so you know. So it's got different words for it.
I need Dr. Justin's hentai lesson, sir.
Yeah, it's my new book on tape, Dr. Justin's hentai lessons. What the fuck are we doing? We're doing the news. Masayuki Kato, the founder of Nihon Falcom, has passed away at age 78, which is sad news.
That's sad, but also possibly optimistic news because he has done some incredible missteps at Falcom over the years. So he pissed off the entire Falcom sound department twice to the point where they all quit in protest.
Oof.
Including just like 4 years ago. So, he's been a controversial figure. It's tragic when anyone passes, but I'm curious to see how.
But maybe this bodes well for the company.
Yeah.
Mega Man World DX4 has released, meaning that all 5 Mega Man Game Boy games have been colorized in high-quality fan hacks.
So excited. I just finished downloading them before we started recording. I was planning on playing them, but I didn't get around to it. But man, these look so good.
Yeah. Exciting. Johnny Gielli?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's Jelly. I think it's Johnny Jelly.
Giolli?
Oh, Johnny Jelly. Johnny, I don't know. The Japanese-American rock band Crush 40.
Yeah,
that guy,
the lead singer of Crush 40,
is suing Sega over use of the Sonic Adventure 2 theme song Live and Learn. He claims that Sega only has the rights to the lyrics and that he owns the rights to the composition and master recording. Says he was unaware that Sega had used the song in other games and is now suing them over its use in re-releases of Sonic Adventure 2 as well as appearances in Yakuza 4, Sonic Generations, Smash Bros. Ultimate, etc., 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 etc.
As well as the Sonic 3 movie that's about to come out.
So,
good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
To either one of these parties, really.
This is a pretty big claim.
Yeah, because if he is correct, good luck to Sega, because that's a lot of use.
Yeah.
And if he is not correct, good luck to him fighting a giant company's lawyers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I hope he gets a payday out of it, because he's the dude that made the music, you know?
And he has done a lot of other music for Sega, including recently, so it's not like he has a bad relationship with them, so this is kind of weird that he would just suddenly sue them over all of this at once.
Yeah, for no, like it's potentially very career damaging. Right, so I'm sure it's has a decent foundation.
Right.
Frostpunk developer 11-Bit Studios has canceled an upcoming game and laid off a bunch of staff because they said that narrative-driven games don't sell. What the fuck are you talking about, Frostpunk? There's this game called God of War.
Right.
It's sold pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good sales on that.
In fact, Sony is basically coasting on exclusively narrative-driven games and Astrobot and their baseball game.
I kind of wonder if Frostpunk 2 just did kind of bad and they're in cleanup mode.
Maybe.
Because I feel like it came out recently and kind of came and went.
I haven't tried it yet. I downloaded it on Game Pass, but I didn't try it yet. So they got my 4 cents that they get from the Game Pass download from me.
Yeah. Falcom has announced that the upcoming remake Trails in the Sky First Chapter will release internationally simultaneously with the Japanese release thanks to new publishing partner Gung Ho Online, and it has Saturn worried.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because
too many new things all at once for Falcom.
They've never done a simultaneous worldwide release on any game ever.
Yeah.
Usually there's like a 1 to 5 year gap before the international release. They've also never partnered up with Gung Ho before, so that's new. Plus, Gung Ho is also simultaneously working on the Lunar remaster.
Yeah.
And also they said that they're potentially doing a whole new translation, though the trailer previously showed Exceed's translation, which I have no idea where that's going. Also, I'm upset about the name of the game. It's called Trails in the Sky First Chapter 1ST First, whereas the last two re-releases of it were called Trails in the Sky First Chapter FIRST First. And that's very confusing to say out loud and try to differentiate this remake from the last remake.
Yes.
And I need them to clarify this.
Just pronounce it as Trails in the Sky Once Chapter.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it Once.
The Once Chapter.
Yep.
And then finally, I'm going to read verbatim this PC Gamer headline. They published this. We didn't fucking write this.
No.
I fucking can't. Hold on.
This is a special request for you to say this.
Gooner 911 averted as Zenless Zone Zero's butt obfuscation technology is rolled back in the face of horny outrage.
Now, Justin, did you read this story?
Oh, I fucking read the story. I watched the videos. I looked at the butt obfuscation technology. I'm well aware.
You experienced the Gooner 911 in real time, yeah?
Gooner. Jesus Christ.
That's the state of gaming journalism.
Holy shit, man. PC Gamer put the words Gooner 911 in a fucking headline, and they're like, publish that shit, dude. Go for it.
Now, in their defense, they did quote it.
Yeah, they didn't come up with Gooner 911. Yeah. It was invented on Twitter by someone. Because someone posted that it had happened. The butts are now being obfuscated. When you try to pan the camera down to the butt on the character, it fades the character model out so you can't see their butt. And then they had a comparison video showing the butt and the faded out butt. And someone just responded and said, Gooner 911. Fuck. Starting off the year right.
Welcome to 2025, Justin.
Yeah, welcome to 2025, where we commemorate Gooner 911 being triumphantly averted at the last minute, at the 11th hour. We unobfuscated the anime butts. Nobody worry.
Yeah. It's
Gooners of the world. Which brings us to our topic at hand, which is, I'm going to read it the way it is in the file name because you misspelled it and I like it. 2025 Wishlist. Wishlist.
Wishlist.
Synopsis. We wish that you'll all enjoy the new year. I'm enjoying this already. This is fantastic.
We've already had one 9/11 averted. That sounds like a great start to the year.
We're gonna start this wish list like we maybe started other wish lists by going over what we wished for in 2024 and what didn't happen. I don't think have we done this before, or this is a new thing?
This is our third time that we've done a wish list.
Yeah.
The first time we did a wish list, I was out because I had COVID or something.
Yeah.
And I was dying, and Andrew covered for me, and you and Andrew did a wish list. And then the next year, we returned, and I was very sick, so Andrew stayed. And we did a wish list again, and I had copied over the wish list that you and Andrew did the previous year in case you wanted to look back at that and reference it at all, which we didn't like read it verbatim on the show. We just like had it as reference material. And so I decided to do that again this year. Unfortunately, Andrew is not here to join us for the third year in a row. But we will go through our wish list.
We'll fire through our last ones. Mine was categorized
whether or not it was accurate.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Is just so I'll go through mine real quick. I had not retro stuff. Mega Man 12 didn't happen. No word on that. Vampire Survivors to remain independent did happen. Yes. I was very worried about VS getting bought up by someone.
Yeah.
Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode. I think it was already announced. It's in beta. We kind of got it. It's in the beta branch. You can play it. It's not complete, but it's there-ish. Retro gaming stuff. I had a kind of pie in the sky hope for affordable FPGA, and we got it.
Yeah.
We got the Funny Playing GBA, which is FPGA. We got the Mr. Pi, which is an affordable
recently announced.
Mr. Yeah, it's like I think just last night had another drop. They're doing stock in waves, but we've got it. We've got affordable FPGA hitting the market.
Yeah.
I wanted more community focus on emulation, which we talked about last episode a little bit. With all these emulation handhelds, there seems to be a lot of focus on emulation and emulators.
We should clarify the Mr. Pi is not like as affordable as a Raspberry Pi.
No, but it's like
still $150 to $200.
Yeah, it's less than half the price of just the MSRP of the DE10 Nano board.
Yeah,
which doesn't include any of the extra shit that you need, and the Mr. Pi is a full kit.
Yes.
It's compared to the regular Mr., it's insanely affordable.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of shockingly affordable to the point that I thought it was a scam, and I looked it up, and it's Taki Udon, the YouTuber, doing it, and I was like, oh, it's legit.
Yeah.
But it's insane how cheap they've gotten it.
Right.
PC, Steam, Linux gaming. I wanted to continue to work on the Linux gaming front. I think we got that, which has been great. I wanted SteamOS 3 to become as universal as possible. It's not out yet.
Not yet.
Hasn't come out, so it didn't get that. I wanted Valve to remain independent, which we got. Yeah, this is good. I think we forget that Valve is independent and I believe a privately traded company. I don't think they're public.
I think they're privately owned. Yeah.
Yeah, they're privately owned is what I'm going to say. And so I'm perpetually worried that one of these big companies is just going to buy them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're a decent size, but they're not anything compared to like the Microsofts and Sonys of the world.
Who's the stupidest company that could buy Valve?
Oh God, Atari. I don't think they could. Stupidest company that I think actually has enough liquid cash to do it. I think like Sega Sammy maybe.
Oh, I was thinking like Kroger.
I was trying to keep it in the realm of at least making sense.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're going to get real crazy, fucking Kroger. Kroger presents Half-Life 3. They'd fucking publish it.
Yeah. They got
regular console stuff, Switch, Xbox, PS5. I just had some kind of general complaints.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted more AA games and money being funneled into small studios. I don't think we're
seeing a little of that from Microsoft.
Some. I don't know that I'd call it a resounding success, but, I wanted the other shoe to finally drop on consumer distaste of current silver, gold, platinum microtransaction season pass bullshit business models.
Yeah.
I was really hopeful that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to really kind of push the envelope on that and be like, hey, you can just release a fucking game.
And that said, last year the sweetheart game of the year was Baldur's Gate 3, which had no real microtransactions or anything like that in there.
Yeah.
This year's sweetheart game of the year is Astrobot, which also no microtransactions and free DLC updates. So
true. So hopefully it just takes longer than I expected.
Pattern. Yeah.
Saturn, what were yours from last year? You want to fire through them?
Sure. Yeah. So I had said that I had hoped we would get any news at all about Nintendo's new hardware. We haven't yet, but we almost have.
Firm rumors. We're in firm rumor territory.
Right. I was hoping for a sequel to Mario 2. We still haven't gotten that, damn it.
Nope.
I wanted a new overhead Zelda game that was surprise announced and released this year. So we did get that.
Yeah.
It's not the best one, but it's a still solid one. I wanted from Xbox any acknowledgement of any of their newly acquired massive back catalog. No, nothing there.
Yeah.
A restart of the backwards compatibility program. No. An add-on BD-ROM like Sony has for the PS5. No, none of that. In fact, they went the opposite direction and released a disc-free Series X.
Yeah.
Better fan emulation of the Xbox and 360. We're starting to get there.
We saw a little progress. I don't think enough to say it fulfilled your wish, but I think it moved. The needle moved.
It's going in the correct direction.
Yeah.
Also, an easier hack for the Xbox 360. If that happened, I didn't see it. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
From Sony, I want to see more PS1 and PS2 releases on the PS4 and PS5. We did get that. Not a ton. Teeny tiny amount. Any amount of Sony classics on PC? Not really.
No.
I think we saw a PS4 game release on PC. Any acknowledgement of any of their classic stuff like Lemmings or Wipeout or Solstice? No, nothing there.
No.
And less console exclusive bullshit. We didn't really get that, but we did see some of the third parties that have teamed up to make console exclusives with Sony start to separate from that a little bit, which is something.
Yeah.
No real notes for PC because I think they were doing fine last year. I think they're doing fine this year.
Yep.
As far as general stuff, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, we got that.
You were getting a little dire. There was a point where you're like, man, I remember there was a point where you were a little worried that maybe it got canceled or shelved.
I was.
Because we hadn't heard anything for so long.
Yeah. And then suddenly they were like, oh, here's all the information. It's also coming out in a few months.
Yeah, and here it is. Yeah. See ya.
I wanted to see more mini consoles, which we kind of got. We got the A400, but that's about it. But yeah. I'm still hoping for some kind of mini console that'll play DDR or light gun games or Samba de Amigo or something stupid. Give me a dumb mini console, damn it.
A weird one. Yeah. Right?
And also, I would like to see some more PC games, old PC games ported to consoles, which we've started to see. We kind of
got that. Roller Coaster Tycoon on Switch. You know, we got that. You know, we're seeing them. I don't know that, I think it's a monkey's paw, but.
Yeah, it's not the beloved ones, but, we're seeing something. So that's something. I'll give them some credit for that.
Yep.
So what is your goals for this?
Yeah, so I picked the same categories as you, so we kind of take turns by category.
All right.
So Nintendo, I labeled this as my legally mandatory Switch 2 wishlist stuff. We've been asked so many times, Switch 2, what do you think? What's this? What's that? And I think we're both in the same camp of like, we'll just believe it when we see it, because Switch 2 rumors have been swirling since 2016 for people that haven't been hanging out the whole time.
Now, 2016 is before the Switch 1 was announced.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
So my wish list for it is pretty mundane, and I'm sure you probably have Switch 2 stuff on your wish list. So I'll go through mine, and then you can do yours, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. I want a price tag under $400. I would prefer it to be $300 or less, but I'm being realistic with the market. $400 or less, I think at $500, it's stupid. I think that's a stupid price.
Yeah, I have to wait for a price drop.
You can't charge as much as a PS5. You can't do it.
I mean, the Series S is $300. I really think they need to keep $300.
I think $299 would be a slam dunk price. Yeah. $400, I don't love it, but I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want full native backward compatibility.
Yep.
The Switch
is implied is the case.
It has been implied, but we've also had systems imply backward compatibility. And then it'd be shoddy, like the PS3. The Switch is basically an Android phone on a Tegra, well-documented Android hardware. There's no excuse for it to not be backward compatible. Fully, natively backward compatible. No layer, none of this shit. It should be able to do it.
Yeah.
While I'm at it, I forgot about this, but I want a USB-C port on the top, please. I know that fucks up the dock thing. Maybe you can just have two.
There is one on both the bottom and the top.
Oh my God.
The leaked images from Dbrand showed that. And that was in the same announcement where Dbrand said, if Nintendo wants to sue us, they can suck our dick. So it's Dbrand. They're going to say exactly like that.
Yeah. That makes me very happy. I hate the USB-C on the bottom. I know it's for the dock, but when you're laying in bed playing your Switch and you have to plug it in, the plug stabs you in the gut.
Yeah,
and so that sucks. What's your? I'm sure you got Switch 2 stuff. What
a couple things. I would like for the Switch successor to have some kind of achievements or way to view recently played games or compare games with people. Something that makes it feel like it has some kind of library, cohesive infrastructure. Something that makes it feel more like a environment instead of just some individual games.
Yeah.
And also 4K output. I would like 4K output. It's not a deal breaker, but at least consistent quality 1080p would be preferred. But I would like 4K. That'd be nice if their dock could have some sort of internal upscaler. I feel like that would justify a $400 price.
I would give up 4K if it ran Switch games and Switch 2 games at locked 30 or 60.
Yeah.
I would give it up for that.
If we could get a consistent 1080 30 at least out of every game, that'd be nice, but
Yeah.
I've seen that modded hacked Switches can take a lot of the games that struggle on a Switch and consistently run them at 30 FPS or higher
with small
and
overclocking.
minor overclocks. And if that is the case, I see no reason why a successor Switch shouldn't at least be able to play legacy Switch games at a consistent 30 FPS.
All right. Is that your full Switch 2 wish list?
Yeah. As far as the hardware.
My next Nintendo thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want the slow death of Switch collectability.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's no way that a lot of these limited release games weren't printed in pretty high numbers. Yep. And I think as the Switch 2 continues to loom, a lot of companies are going to begin trying to jettison their Switch stock.
Yeah.
And I think we're really going to see how many of these limited and collector's editions were really limited.
And we've also started to see some reissues of some of the ultra limited games from early in the system's life.
So I'm hoping it crushes out the artificially created collector's market for the Switch, because the Switch is one of Nintendo's most successful systems of all time.
Yes.
Beaten out only. It is. Is it now? Yeah. All right. So then it is their most successful system of all time. These are the people that you'll remember made the Nintendo Wii and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
The shit for the Switch is abundant and easy to get, and I want the Switch to go slowly into that collectability good night, unlike stuff like the 3DS that was fucking catapulted into it, and the Wii U.
Right.
This shit is everywhere. I want this collectability to die, and I want everyone to wake up in 2025 and realize, as people are shoving games out onto the shelves to get them sold before Switch 2, that, oh, hey, there's tons of this stuff. There's plenty of it.
I don't know if you saw this chart that was floating around a couple weeks ago, but somebody made a comparison chart. Mm-hmm. The Switch, as of June 30th of 2024, had sold 143.42 million units.
Yeah.
If you take the NES, Super NES, and N64 combined, that's 143.94 million units, just barely more.
Yeah.
Or if you take the GameCube, Wii, and Wii U combined, that's 136 million units, less than the Switch.
The Switch has been insanely, shockingly successful. I think even the most optimistic of us did not expect. And it's instead of this explosiveness that like the Wii had, this very explosive kind of market conditions, the Switch has just been. It's just been like day one sold pretty damn good, and then sold pretty damn good nonstop year after year after year after year after year, and it turns out it's the way to do it. Despite Nintendo's best efforts. What's your next Nintendo one? You got any more Nintendo ones?
So next, I would like to see a new Mario Odyssey style game. I feel we're due
Odyssey
for that.
2. Give it to us.
It doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to do. They could do something weird. It is Nintendo.
Yeah.
We could get another 2D Mario game. Now, the rumor that I've been hearing is that the Switch successor is going to potentially launch with a new Mario Kart instead of a Mario.
Oh.
Because we haven't had a new Mario Kart since the Wii U. So
I'm going to be a little nervous about the next Mario Kart because, it's that Smash Brothers thing of like, you want to match the minimum content level of the previous game, but you've added so much fucking content.
Exactly.
How do you do that out of the gate,
Another rumor I saw this week is apparently the Switch successor is supposed to launch with a upgraded port of Final Fantasy IX for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah.
How weird.
Right.
My final Nintendo wish list item is more frequent and better retro releases on Nintendo Switch Online.
Yep.
The slow trickle thing, it's fucking stupid.
Yep.
There is not one single goddamn good reason not to already have every first-party Nintendo game ever available.
There's one reason.
Yeah. Well, what is that? Stupidity?
No, it's marketing, because they get a news story every time they release another game on there.
Put the
Whereas
shit
if they put it all
there
on there all at once, people would forget about it in a couple weeks.
I think what they could do is put all of them out there and then come up with community contests and engagement things they could do for individual titles each week. They could do SP versions of different titles every week that have like leaderboards and stuff.
Every couple of weeks. That would get the news stories.
Yeah, you get the news stories and you get to have stuff available. And while I'm at it, GameCube on Nintendo Switch. Put it the fuck on there. There's no reason not to.
List too. GameCube and Wii games added to NSO.
Yeah,
I think there's no reason for us not to get to that point soon. If not,
for sure. And like, I know hardware wise, it might be a big ask of the Switch, just based on how Dolphin emulation, or how the Dolphin emulator works and the kind of hardware it runs on. But for the Switch 2, no excuse, none whatsoever. I think it would be boneheaded for the Switch 2 not to launch with at least GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online.
Even as it is, the current Switch hardware can handle Dolphin. It doesn't handle it super well, but if we had Nintendo's budget to optimize it on a game-by-game basis, it absolutely could handle it. So there's no reason for the successor console to not be able to do it.
Yeah. That's all you got any more Nintendo stuff before we do Microsoft?
I got one more. I want to see a mini console-ish style version of the DS.
Oh, wow.
Like a Nintendo DS Classic Edition.
So like kind of like how they did those little Game & Watches.
Yeah, kind of.
Like one of those, like a one and done with a few first-party DS games.
I think if they did that for like $150, $200, and they included a dozen or 2 dozen classic DS games, I think it would sell pretty well. And
I think you don't even need that many. I mean, I think you put 10 games on there and it would, you throw on Nintendogs, you throw on Brain Age, you throw on New Super Mario Brothers, you throw on Mario Kart 7, you throw on, I don't know.
DS.
What was 7 on?
3DS.
3DS, all right. Yeah, Mario Kart DS. You throw on Animal Crossing Wild World, and that's 5 games. You get $100 for that. I guarantee you, if that was $99.99, those 5 games, it would sell straight up.
Yeah,
totally. Let's do Microsoft. I don't have a lot for them.
Okay.
But there are 2 big ones that I want very badly.
Mm-hmm.
One, Activision Blizzard King games on Steam.
We're starting to see that.
There's no excuse for the lack of Warcraft on the largest PC platform in the world. There's none. Better yet, put it all on GOG. You already put some Warcraft on GOG.
What if instead they retracted it from GOG?
Oh, you mean like they did? Didn't they do that? They did.
Yeah, they pulled Warcraft 1 and 2 from GOG.
Which makes... just fucking put the shit on Steam. Here's the thing. Because
Diablo 4 is on Steam.
It is, and it came out on Steam, I think, at launch.
Possibly, yeah.
It's frustrating. Warcraft 1 and 2 just launched, though. Warcraft 3 is available. I hear the remaster. But like we hear a lot of stories about like World of Warcraft struggling and lying about numbers and shit.
Yeah.
A good way to inject a large amount of new players into your game? Put it on the biggest fucking marketplace that is available on your platform. Yeah. Put WoW on Steam. I'm not even a big WoW guy, but put it the fuck on Steam. Why is it not there? What the fuck are you waiting on? Put it there.
Yeah. Now there's also the argument of we don't want to have everything consolidated into one.
Sure. I mean, keep it on the battle. Keep your BattleNet launcher. Sure, keep it. But
put it on Steam.
Put it the fuck on Steam. Like, I mean, God, my God. What's your first Microsoft one?
Well, since you're already talking about PC, I'll go to PC and say, all
right.
I want to be able to play my PC games via cloud gaming without having to pay for GeForce Now.
Oh.
Because right now, the only way you can play PC Game Pass games or purchased Xbox PC games via cloud gaming is via GeForce Now, and GeForce Now cuts you off after a certain period of time unless you pay them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay them.
That's stupid as hell.
And as it is, that's basically the only way to play those games outside of Windows. So if you want to play them on Linux or if you want to play them on Mac OS, you have to use GeForce Now. Just let me directly stream them. I get that's probably part of their agreement
deal or whatever.
European Union, but God damn it, I just want to be able to play those games on not Windows.
Give me another Microsoft one for you because I only have one more.
Okay. I appreciate that Xbox cloud saves work in Steam now. That's neat. They just added that to that Indiana Jones game as a test.
Oh, now is that across? So that's only on that game right now, right?
So far, they're going to be adding it to others in the future. They said.
Oh,
but
goodness!
As of
Thank
now,
goodness.
If you have a save file on Xbox PC, or on Steam, you can.
I fought for hours to try to get my Halo Infinite campaign into Steam. Couldn't do it.
Soon you'll be able to.
Fucking finally.
But I'm glad they did that. Now let's bring it to Nintendo. because they do sell games on the Switch, things like Ori and Minecraft and whatnot. Bring the cloud saves there. I know you probably can't do it on PlayStation. Sony's probably not going to let you do that, but at least bring it to Nintendo so that it is in as many places as possible, because Nintendo's sure as hell not going to give us cloud saves anywhere.
Right.
They can barely handle saving to a cartridge.
Yeah.
So just bring it to more people.
My final Microsoft one is Game Pass via Steam. I know a lot of my arguments are please funnel it into Steam, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying only have it on Steam. Keep it. I want it fucking everywhere. I want it on every platform. I want everything everywhere all of the time. I want it in every store, on every storefront, in every marketplace. Yeah. There's no reason not to. But EA offers EA Play on Steam.
Yep.
Because the biggest problem with PC Game Pass is interfacing with fucking PC Game Pass. It sucks.
Yeah.
It has weird restrictions on how and where you can install shit. Everything's UWP. All the fucking files are like, it's just a pain in the dick.
Yeah, and they updated it recently, along with all the new games they added to it. And now it crashes every other time that I open it on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I have to open up Task Manager, kill it, and then open it again in order to actually use it.
Like, I don't, just like you said, I don't want Steam to own everything.
Right.
And I'm not saying only put it in Steam, but I'm saying that if there is an existing platform, put it like, it's not like you aren't still getting the Game Pass money. Right. It could even be more. You could even charge more to cover it. Like if it was like $1.50 more to cover Steam's cut or whatever, because you want to make the money. Sure, just make it like goddamn, man.
I get they want us in their marketplace so we might buy games from them. But if that's the case, just put your games on Game Pass on Steam.
If my PC is an Xbox, then how come Steam isn't an Xbox too? Because also that would open up possibly the ability to now play Game Pass games natively on Linux via Game Pass on Steam.
That's what I am after, because right now all of my Game Pass games are locked to a Windows install, and if I want to play any of that stuff, I have to install Windows or boot into Windows. I just want to play it in Linux. If I have to do it streaming, great, but just let me play it not in Windows.
Yeah. What other Xbox stuff you got?
All right, so this is the console side thing.
Sure.
One, I am once again asking for more backwards compatibility. I want more of the back catalog, especially the stuff that they just acquired from Bethesda or from Activision.
Sure.
All that stuff should be backwards compatible. You own it outright now. I get there might be some music licensing rights or whatever you got to sort that out, and then put it on the damn console because you own these games. Or at least let us play them off of a disc if we have a disc.
And they previously said they're dialing this program back, didn't they? So the chances of it
they said they're considering partially bringing it back. So
yeah.
Also, I appreciate that I can now play my purchased games via Xbox Cloud. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find some way that I can play my disc-based games on Xbox Cloud when I'm away from home. Because
even if you had to leave the fucking disc in your system.
Exactly.
Like, that'd be fine.
Currently, you can stream your console online, but somehow they've broken that because it streams like shit. And it's not that I've got a bad internet connection. I've got a gigabyte up and down. But I can stream my PS5 perfectly from my office. But if I try to stream my Xbox from my office, I get one frame every other second.
Oof. And
it's not playable.
Yeah.
I don't know how they broke it because it used to stream great 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But now it is awful. And just let me stream my disc-based games somehow. That's all I want. Just let me play them even on my Xbox One. Let me play my Series X games on my Xbox One streamed across my network.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, bring back the Snap video player.
Oh my God. Why would you get rid of that?
It was the best feature on
Snapping
the Xbox
shit
One.
in was awesome.
Yeah, just let me have a little video feed on the side of my screen so that I can watch Netflix or whatever while I am playing a game. That was the best fucking feature of the Xbox One.
Really,
I'm so upset it was taken away.
The loss of picture-in-picture as a feature across media, television, screens in general.
My TV supports it.
Mine doesn't. I mean, you see it every now and then, but it used to be like you just assumed most decent TVs had picture-in-picture.
My computer monitors support it too.
My wife's does, and one of mine does.
Yeah.
But that shit should be a standard fucking feature, man.
I don't know how I would use it on my computer monitor because it doesn't have any audio input.
Right. Yeah. Are we on to Sony?
Yeah, let's do Sony.
I only have one Sony, so I'll give mine, then you can give me your list. I want Astro Bot on PC, please. Put it on PC. Put it on PC so I can play it. I don't mind waiting a year or whatever. Just put it the fuck on there.
Now, let me explain why that's not going to
No.
happen.
No.
One, the game heavily relies on DualSense features.
That's okay. DualSense works on PC.
It does. And so if they released it on PC, you would have to have a DualSense controller.
Okay.
Or they would have to convert everything into keyboard and mouse or other controllers, and it'd be a lot of conversion. Two, the game is all about PlayStation 5s. You're constantly inside of a PlayStation 5 or on top of a PlayStation 5.
But PlayStation 5 is just a PC. So
that could be a problem. But the biggest one, the one that I think is actually the deal breaker, is there is a load of licensed third-party characters in the game.
Well, they can just replace them all with head crabs from Half-Life and then release the game. Give me the fucking game. I want the game.
Like, most of the game is just collecting all the lost robots, and most of them are characters from PlayStation history, and a lot of them are licensed, and that could be a problem.
I want that, and I don't want to spend $500 for it.
Now just come over to my house and play it, and then
I'll spend $500 in gas.
Yep. I'll just let you borrow my PS5 for a month. You can play through Astrobot, and you can bring it back.
I guess if I were to add to this, to tack on to that, a PS5 that is more in line with the Series S than just yanking out the fucking, like an actual budget PS5.
Yeah, one that's not $400 for the same thing, but no disk drive.
Like, we're several years in this console lifecycle, and we're hearing rumors about a PS6, and you just released a PS Pro. Give me the PS, I don't know what you want to fucking
Mini.
call it, Lite or whatever, that, is 30 FPS on a lot of stuff, and it's $299.
Like it's already 30 FPS on a lot of stuff.
No, that's not good. Like, if it's $299 and I can play Demon's Souls Remastered and Astrobot, I could make the case for that. $500 fucking dollars? I don't know, dude. Maybe get fucked. What's your Sony list? What do you got?
All right. So one, I want to see PS3 games on the PS5 in some way that is not streaming, because currently that's the only way you can play them. Is to stream them over Sony's cloud streaming. Which, come on, the PS5 can handle PS3 games.
No, see, it's because of reasons and stuff.
You see, the cell processor was so advanced.
That's what it was. It was so advanced. It's too advanced, Saturn. We can't handle it on the PlayStation 5. You got to get a Pro.
Yeah.
You gotta, maybe the
Pro.
Pro.
Oh, God. If they do, I would be so angry. Anyway.
Totally fucking would, too.
Also, I want the ability to use cloud saves on my PS5, or at least back up my own save files to offline storage without paying for PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
How about that? Because that feels like the most basic
kind of shit. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm still super upset that you cannot back up your own save files unless you pay them an annual subscription.
Yeah, that's gross.
That's bullshit. Also, repeat of all my requests from last year. And I would like themes on my PS5. That'd be neat.
Wait, there's no theming on PS5?
There is not. Well, they recently added the 30th anniversary themes, which are all super cute and adorable, and they have already said they're going to take them away from us after the 30th anniversary.
Themes were a huge deal on
PS4.
PS4, PS3 had
the color themes on PS3 and add backgrounds.
PSP had themes. Sometimes games would come with themes on the UMD.
But not on PS5. On PS5, you have to have the dedicated game screens where each game has its own dedicated wallpaper that's sometimes an advertisement.
How do these companies keep fucking up their own fucking UIs?
I don't know.
Also, fucking explain it. I don't get it. How is the Switch UI worse than the Wii? How did you do that?
I don't fucking know how they did that.
How did you do that?
There's some great homebrew UIs for the Switch, by the way. If you hack your Switch, you can make it look awesome.
I'm going to hack it once I get my Switch 2.
Right. Also, I would like them to implement Quick Resume or something like Quick Resume.
Yeah.
Because that's the best feature of this console generation.
I want Quick Resume everywhere.
Right. And finally, I want them to invent a controller battery that lasts longer than 2 hours, or at least let me pop some AA's in there.
I didn't know the controller battery on PS5 was also bad.
It is about the same as the PS4 controller.
How the fuck? What fucking? So here's what I don't understand.
Well, you see, there's all this advanced technology in the DualSense.
I bought my Switch at launch, and I bought my Switch Pro controller at launch. I think I've charged it once ever. Out of like 90,000 hours. I think they've got uranium in the Switch Pro controller. It's the only way.
It lasts 800 years.
It's the only fucking way.
Yeah.
Either that or someone secretly charges it and doesn't tell me. Because I swear I'll go months and I play it a lot.
Yeah.
It's
also,
crazy.
For that matter, I happened to come across my DS the other day that I haven't used in years and powered it on, and it was still fully charged.
Still charged
years ago.
Fuck yeah.
Whereas my PS5 controller, if I forget to put it on the charger for 2 days, I have to charge it for another 2 days before I can use it.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
You got any more Sony?
No, that's all my Sony stuff.
We're going to move on to PC/Steam.
Okay.
My big one is the death of as many publisher-specific launchers on PC as possible.
I agree.
If you are a publisher-specific launcher, I want you to fucking die. Please die. Go away.
What I would like to see is a bunch of the publishers, or maybe the ESA itself, come together and create a unified launcher that everyone can use. And maybe they should just call it Steam. But
like,
whatever they do,
Steam is my preferred PC platform. I love the features it has. I trust Valve, but I don't care where you go. I just don't want it to be specific to your publisher. Go to GOG. Go to I don't give a shit, man. Go to Itch. Like, I don't care.
Now, granted, both Steam and GOG are owned by publishers.
True. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It feels different, right?
Yeah. Those feel like store first and publisher front second.
Yeah, like it's like, CDPR is a thing. Yeah. They do make games. Yeah, but it feels distinctly different from
Uplay or
EA. Yeah, EA's fucking shit. Like, and what frustrates me the most is all these third-party launchers, all these non-GOG, non-Steam launchers, are also just vessels for ads.
Yep.
You turn the launcher on and they want to advertise their new game that they've published to you. Right. And you know what? GOG's going to put, when their game comes out, it's going to go on the front page with all the other fucking games.
Right.
And if it's a top seller, it'll be in the top sellers section.
Yeah.
But I don't have a whole dedicated section in my GOG Galaxy launcher that's like, hey, buy The Witcher 4 coming out soon. They don't do that.
Don't give them an idea.
Yeah, I don't want to. So I want to see those all die. I want them to all die. I want them to go away, please, and just use what's already available and standardized and works. Or like Saturn said, maybe come up with a good third-party solution that has some kind of guarantee on the back end about availability and stuff, but you're not going to do that because you want to take things away. So, yeah.
Let me add on to that one, actually.
Sure.
With one of mine is I want to see more native Linux launchers for those things, especially for GOG.
Oh, yeah.
And any of the other fronts that are not Steam as well would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely would be nice. Yeah.
You have a lot more PC ones, so go ahead.
Oh, do I? Okay, all right. Yeah. I want to see Steam continue, or Valve, to continue to push back on publishers. They've been pushing back.
Yeah.
They were one of the first ones to say that their marketplace is going to use the new required terminology that dictates that you are purchasing a license to software.
Right.
They recently pushed back saying that, hey, if you don't disclose what your DLC is and give us a timeline on when it's available, you have to take that shit down.
And refund people.
They're pushing back on some of these practices, and I want to see them continue to push because they have the clout to because here's the thing, and it kind of ties into the death of publisher-specific launchers, is that all these publisher-specific launchers have seen that nobody wants their fucking Rockstar launcher. Right. Nobody fucking wants it.
Yeah.
And so now they're between a rock and a hard place where it's like, well, you just kind of got to put your shit on Steam.
Yeah.
Even if you still include the third-party launcher, which is even more fucking frustrating.
Yeah. They finally removed the third-party launcher from Civ 6.
Oh, there you go. That's something.
Yeah.
And so they've seen what happens when they try to go around Steam, and it doesn't work out well for them. And so I'm hoping this gives Valve the leeway to be like, look, you can make your own fucking launcher if you want. You see how that goes, or you can play nice and you can. I don't even want to say be pro-consumer because I don't even feel like Valve is pro-consumer. They're just like not anti-consumer.
Right. They are the least anti-consumer right now, which
Like,
is something.
we're not asking for much.
Right.
We're just like, hey, can you not be actively fucking us for like a second?
Yeah.
That's all. That's all. My next PC one is I want Linux gaming to continue to evolve, and more specifically, I want some indication on the kind of shape and form of Valve's involvement in Arch. I'd like to see more of what that's going to look like, sort of long term for the project. And they may have disclosed that, and I just haven't looked into it.
They discussed some, but I don't think there's been any specifics as far as what.
What I would like to see is a firm, big commitment to Linux gaming.
Yeah.
To the continuation and the expansion of Linux gaming from them, because I think they're poised well to do it, and I think I trust them to do it more than anyone else, and I think they've already done more than anyone else ever has in that arena.
I think Wine and Proton are in really impressive places right now.
It's insanely impressive, especially compared to like 5 years ago.
Right. But I am increasingly worried by the push towards ARM-based PCs.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. Like,
that's going to break a lot of that.
I get it from the efficiency standpoint.
Yeah,
ARM is a much better architecture, but there's a legacy there.
And Microsoft has a good x86 emulator on ARM that allows you to use Windows software on there, but it's not perfect and it doesn't work for most games.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be worse when you add in Linux.
More layers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, and how that's going to look going into the future, but we'll see. I got one more Steam one. You got one?
Out real quick.
Sure.
I want to see more cross-saving with consoles, with other launchers, with whatever. I don't care. Just let us cross-save across everything.
Even if I got to do the shit manually and export a fucking file and move it, like, come on.
Especially if you're already going to force me to buy the game on each of these consoles separately, at least let me carry over my save file across them.
Yep, for sure. My final one is I want to finally see Steam boxes in Steam OS 3. It was on my wish list last year. I still want to see it this year. We've seen some movement. I want to see it. Give me it. Give me the stuff. I want to have it. Give me that. Our final category here, I just marked as general/retro, which I think is more or less kind of the same as yours. I'll let you go first because I did a lot of Steam ones.
Yeah. So I want to see more standalone feature complete experiences.
Okay.
Less DLC, less
microtransactions.
Yeah. Less partial games. The fact that a game from 1997 is being remade into 3 separate full-length games at full price that aren't even on the same console is frustrating. And I want less of that and more just complete single price point, single purchase games. More of that.
It would be nice. I think there is market interest in it. I think there is market push for it. And I think we're seeing it. And I don't like to pat Sony on the back, but Sony seems to be sort of leading the charge. I mean, I guess you could argue Nintendo still kind of puts out those experiences very much.
True.
But it would be nice to see more of the bigger third-party publishers committing to these types of experiences. Right. My first one is the Miu Flip to come out, and I want Onion OS to support it. Please have Onion OS. Please, Onion OS is so good. I've been using my RG35XX SP, which is still terribly named. And Mu OS on it is great. Yeah. But Onion OS is just so fucking slick. It's hard to beat. I really want to see that Miu Flip, and I really, really want it to have RTC. RTC has become very vital to these handhelds for me, and there's a mod to add it to the Miu Mini Plus, but neither of the Miu Minis currently have RTC. So I want to see that on the Flip. It may already be confirmed or not. I'm not sure. But I'm not
sure what game I would play that would need an RTC.
The Pokemans for me.
Yeah,
I play them. They're Pokemans. I like that Pokemon Crystal Clear, and it does do RTC. And you can emulate it where like it refreshes the time on boot from the internet. But I play a lot like in my car, waiting to pick my kid up, or like around, and I want that RTC. So I really want to see the Miu Flip come out, be affordable, Onion OS to support it, and it have RTC. I think that could be. I don't want to use the word end game handheld emulator, because I'm going to buy anything that comes out because I've no self-control and whatever. But it would be, I would like that very much. I'd very much enjoy that. What's your first general one, or your next general one? Because you started,
How about less layoffs?
What a ridiculous, Saturn, we got to pay these CEO bonuses. What do you want us to fucking do? Pay them less money?
All right,
what if they quit? Who's going to make all the art? Well, they don't make the art. Who's going to make all the music? Well, they don't make the music. Who's going to... Do they design games?
Who's going to interact with the shareholders?
Who is going to interact with the shareholders, Saturn? If we're not paying $10 million to Bobby Kotick, who the fuck is going to talk to shareholders? Huh? You going to do it?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I would love to see less laughs. It'd be nice.
So how about an easier or more convenient way to emulate or play DS, 3DS, and Wii U games without having to connect a second television to my computer?
I would love to see some cheapo dual screen, because we've seen one or two dual screen emulators. I think
not
emulators,
even
but
handhelds.
Yeah, Neo has one, but I think it's like a Ryzen machine, so it's crazy expensive. I would love to just see some lower end DS capable handhelds. Yeah, for sure.
But also some more convenient way to do it on PC or something as well too.
I don't even know what that would look like
on TV, or I don't know how they. That's exactly why I am asking for it. I want somebody to figure out this puzzle for me.
Like, I don't know what you could do that's better than what we have.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy secondary screens that are touch screens and output to both.
That's why I want the smart people to figure it out for me.
Okay.
That's why it's on my wish list and not on my expectation list.
I want to see Dreamcast Mini.
What about Saturn Mini?
I want to see Dreamcast Mini.
Oh.
I thought about the Saturn. I think between the two, Dreamcast is the most likely candidate. I think it's got the worldwide clout necessary to really push the sales of a mini console. I would love to see it.
Also, it'd be adorable.
It would also be adorable. Also, Dreamcast emulation is in a pretty fucking good spot. Saturn emulation is still a little weird. Like, it's pretty good, but it's comparatively a little weird. So I picked the one that I could see actually happening.
Yeah.
I would love to see Dreamcast Mini. Please do it.
Also, I want a USB version of the Dreamcast controller, because that'd be adorable. And also, if it had a built-in VMU with a little VMU screen,
you could just put the screen directly on the controller.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. I would love that.
Except for you hate that controller.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want the controller to not suck. Maybe they could make it less razor sharp. But I'd still like to see Dreamcast Mini. I like a lot of Dreamcast games. They're good. They're good. I just use a real controller when I play Dreamcast games instead. What's your next one?
I want to see a Silent Hill 1 remake in the style of Silent Hill 2 announced.
Oh, I think that could happen, man.
I hope so. I don't know how likely it is, but man, I hope so.
Yeah, I think you got a couple more than me, so you keep trucking with yours.
All right, I also want a new Nier game. I want to see whatever
it's been a minute
comes out of Yoko Taro's head.
Was the last thing the mobile shit?
That was the third game.
Was the last thing that happened.
And it has been ended, and you can no longer play it, and you can no longer experience it. So I would love to see an offline version of that released, maybe turned into more of a game and less of a automated gotcha thing that it was. That'd be really neat.
My very final one, and this is tacking on what I got this year, which was Mr. Pie and Funny Playing GBC FPGA systems. I want a general use multi-system FPGA handheld to compete with the Analog Pocket.
That'd be nice.
I would love to see something that's a little more general. Like the Funny Playing GBC is cool, but I want something that I can load. I can stick an SD card in, and it's a portable FPGA running ROMs. That's not sold by a bunch of buttholes,
right?
And stacked into machine aluminum for $250 or however much it costs.
Yeah.
We've already got FPGA technology readily available for affordable prices in handhelds with the Funny Playing GBC.
Yep.
And my understanding is an FPGA is an FPGA, just the implementation is what makes it different.
I imagine it depends on what chip you're using for the FPGA.
Yeah, that probably has some pertinence. But Analog is doing it. Funny Playing's doing it. I think we really could see a general purpose multi-system FPGA handheld in 2025. I think it could
Right.
happen. No, that's my final wish for this.
I got two
year.
left.
All right, lay them on me.
One, just like last year, I want to see more viable emulation for the Xbox and the 360.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's still out of reach for a lot of the games on there.
Yeah, it's a little not great.
Yeah, it's better than it has been, but it's not there yet. And also, I just want to see better preservation in general, especially as a lot of the actual developers of these games are getting up in age, and a lot of them are already starting to die on us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We really need a lot of interviews and documentaries right now.
Oh yeah.
Before these people leave us, we need to try to preserve as much of this information as we can in a way that it can be referenced, because in the last 50 years we've really seen the birth of a medium, and it is better documented than some have been.
Yeah.
But we're in an era where documentation is easier than it's ever been before. Everybody has a camera in their pocket.
It's kind of ridiculous that we don't have more. And I think some of it is cultural. Like there's a lot of gaming that came out of Japan, and Japan is very much just like, yes, I made the game, goodbye. And you're like, no, fucking talk to us about it.
Right.
But I would also love to see some. I think I'm still waiting so patiently, and I'm nervous we're not going to get it. But what I want to get is Miyamoto. We still just don't hear a lot from him or about him.
Right.
And among other figures, obviously he's a big influence on, my life and me personally, but people like I would say he's probably the most worldwide famous individual game designer. I feel like there's a higher chance that more people know me if they were to know a game designer.
Right.
I feel like Miyamoto is kind of the Mickey Mouse of game designers, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we just don't know.
It's the Walt Disney of game designers.
Yeah.
Mario would be the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, right. We just don't know a shitload about him, and it's because Nintendo keeps him so secretive. Because
we know he measures things.
We know he measures things, and we hear this weird shit. Like, I want to really know more about it. And I'm going to be so fucking heartbroken if he goes out the door and we don't get more on him before he's gone.
Yeah.
It's funny. It would be very sad.
A day or two after I had written that in our notes for this, I happened to watch NoClip's documentary about the Soul Reaver games.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
I haven't. It's on my YouTube list. I haven't gotten around to it.
Apparently, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos at the time did a phenomenal job of keeping a lot of the records of the developments of those games, like sketches and recordings, both audio and video, and old code and stuff, and they just put it all in a big box just marked SR. Yeah. And they had no idea what was in it, and they hadn't gone through it in a long time, and they just gave it to NoClip, and they're like, I don't know, go through this, see what you find. and they went through a bunch of it and found just a ton of development material, and they talked with people and everything, and I appreciate it. Some of the information was clearly being funded by current day Crystal Dynamics, because they were like, yeah, when you think of Crystal Dynamics, you think things like Tomb Raider. And I was like, no, you don't. They didn't make that.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
The current day Crystal Dynamics makes that. They didn't make it back then. And one guy at one point was like, there was never a game with story before Soul Reaver. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, I played Ninja Gaiden. There was a story. There was
another game in this series with story. But yeah, but still, it's neat to be able to see all that stuff. And so I'm glad that somebody is out there doing it, but I want to see more of that. I want to see more people trying to preserve some of this ephemeral stuff before it goes away.
Yeah. So. I specifically want to see a lot of the Japanese market busted open, because it's so hard. European developers were very good about documenting all their shit. A lot. Yeah, it's like I know, like when we did Dungeon Keeper, it was so refreshing to just have extremely detailed information about all the ways Peter Molyneux annoyed everybody.
Well, it helps that Peter Molyneux has not stopped talking once since 1980.
There you go.
So odds are you're going to be able to record something he said.
Yeah. So
it's hold up a microphone high enough, you're going to pick up Peter Molyneux right now.
It's cool. It's cool to have those things.
Yeah.
It's upsetting that we don't get more of it,
Indeed.
Which kind of brings us into final thoughts. we've had some pretty big hits. The decision to not allow preservation of games by the government, the layoffs in the industry, stuff's feeling pretty tight.
Video Game History Foundation does accept donations through their Patreon.
They do, yeah.
And they are still fighting that good fight despite the setback. So if you are concerned about or interested in game preservation, that is a good place to start.
Absolutely. Other than that, just, it's the new year. Be kind to each other.
Right.
We'll
all make it through this together.
Keep fighting for your consumer rights.
Yes.
I feel like it's worth saying that because, there's a lot of bad shit going on in the world right now. And I think I see a lot of people, and they show up in the Discord, and they don't mean it in a bad way, but they'll just be like, I don't want to complain about this too much. Like, people are fucking dying in places. I'm like, yeah, but people, it can be bad that people are dying somewhere, and it can also be bad that Ubisoft took your video game away. Like, those can both be bad at the same time in different ways at different levels without canceling or discounting one another. Just because there's worse things doesn't mean the things that happen to you aren't bad or frustrating. And at the end of the day, it's not to get to Jeff Keighley on the whole situation, but games are important. Art is societally important to civilization, to human beings. It is a necessary thing. There's a reason we create art, and the reason humans have always created art. It's important to us. These things are important. No, in a given moment, if forced to choose between feeding a nation or making a video game, maybe we, feed some people. But that's not how the world
Only
works.
Some.
Both
we
things.
Still need Animal Crossing,
right? I mean, obviously, both things can be important, right? We can concern ourselves with multiple things at once as a society, So just remember, these things are important. A lot of these games, for many of us, are kind of social heritage. These are the things that defined us, that we grew up with, that were important to us, that we made
cultural milestones in our lives.
Yeah, things we made friends over, how we view the world, how we relax from a long day of work. This all art is important, and video games are art because you can't have 100 artists make something and it not be art. That's just how. I don't know how they would make anything else other than art. So it's just try to be positive. Play some indie games. There's lots of good ones out there. Support the companies that do the things you like. And I don't want to tell anyone how to spend their money, but if it's possible, try to spend a little less on the companies that do the shit that annoys the hell out of you. Right. I'm not saying don't buy that new EA Sports Ball 2025 or whatever. Go fucking buy the thing, sure. But maybe instead of $30 on
don't buy EA Sports Ball 2025 because that's not a real game, and whoever's trying to sell it to you is.
I guarantee you, Sports Ball 2025 exists on the Wii eShop.
Yeah, but not EA Sports Ball.
Sure, play your sports ball, enjoy it, but then maybe instead of that new pack of DLC on it, you spend $5 and go pick up an indie game from someone.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of cool stuff on itch. Check out ROM hacks, fan translations. Look at what communities are doing. Come hang out in our community.
Right.
Be nice to each other. Because shit's fucked up out there, but at least we get to play games and eat burritos and pet dogs and all the other
eat burritos,
all the other good things in life. I do still get burritos, yeah.
Oh,
so they've not been taken from my part of Texas
yet.
Also go to our Patreon at patreon.com/Retro Warriors, where you can get fun things like Talking Wizards. And I'm just going to keep saying everything in this PSA tone of voice so that maybe you'll all listen to our ad instead of tuning out.
We do not offer burritos, unfortunately.
I did kind of override your final thoughts, though, so I don't know if
you're fine.
Final.
You're
okay.
Good.
All right. Yeah, that's good.
I think I chimed in where I needed to.
We want to thank the following patrons. Our first patrons of 2025, starting with Not a Bear in a Man Suit.
I don't know if I believe that. Also, Adam Klugowitz.
Burger Champ.
Arch user, by the way.
Is she true?
A discontinued cigarette.
David Cavallari.
Eric G.
A Marlian.
And Fart Butt.
Thanks.
That's how we kick off 2025.
Anyway, here we go. Another year. We're gonna hit 500 soon. It's gonna be a fun time. Be a good time. Assuming the world still exists. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
That's how we're gonna end this.
I didn't mean to get dark, but this is where it goes. It's true. It could happen. I don't know. It could happen. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week. And as always, let us cling together.